Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing this cute crop top. I already have my pattern paper on my work table, and we'll start by taking our point. So this is an off shoulder top, so I'm going to be minusing 6 inches before I start placing my point. So the distance from my shoulder to my chest line is 8 inches. The distance from my shoulder to my bust point is 10 inches. The distance from my shoulder to my under bust point is 13 inches, and the distance from my shoulder to this top length is 16 inches. So the top is going to stop at my waistline. I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line across all these points, and I'm going to label them: my chest line, my bust point, my under bust point, and my waistline. The next thing I'm going to do is to take my bust span measurement divided by 2, which is my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. It is 4 inches. I'm going to add half an inch to it for stitching allowance. So on my bust point, on my under bust point, and on my waist point, I'm going to mark 4.5 inches, and I'll connect the dots into a straight line. So whatever your measurement is, make sure you add half an inch to it for stitching allowance. On my shoulder line, I'm going to add 1 inch to the measurement that I placed on my bust point. So I used 4.5 inches. What I'm going to do is to mark the 4.5 inches, and then I'm going to add 1 inch to it like this. So I'm going to get my ruler, and I'll slant from the line on the bust point to meet the dots that I just made on the shoulder line, just like this. So guys, at this point my camera stopped recording, and I didn't know till I finished filming this particular part of the video. So I'm going to try my best to explain to you guys what I did here. The next thing I'm going to do is to take in my darts. So I'm going to alter this into a bustier pattern. So I'll go ahead and take my darts on my side front, which is the other side of the pattern paper, not the side facing me. From the dart leg, I'm going to go out by 1 inch, and then I'm going to place it with a dot. I'm doing this on my under bust line, and on the waistline I'm going to go out by 1.25 inches. So I'm just going to place it like this also. And on the center front of this pattern paper, which is the side of the pattern paper that is facing me, I'm going to take half an inch. I'll come out like this by half an inch on my waistline, and on the under bust line also I'll go out like this by half an inch. So after doing that, guys, I'm going to use my ruler to connect the two dots together. So please pay close attention to see how I'm connecting it. This is just basically how we take in our darts. So I'm just going to connect using a straight line like this. So after doing that, on my bust point, I came down by 1 inch, just like this. From the bust point, I came down by 1 inch. I indicated that with a dot. So I used my ruler to create a very nice curve like this from the under bust point to meet the 1 inch dot that I just made. And on the other end, I just used my ruler to connect from that 1 inch dot to meet the under bust line. So that is basically all I did. I hope you understand. If you don't understand, please leave your question in the comment section. So guys, next thing I'll do now is to tighten my over bust, and to do that I'm going to go out by 1 inch on the center front, which is the side facing me, and on the other end I'm going to go out by 0.75, just like this, and then I'll use my ruler to connect from there to meet my bust line. I'm going to blend this part out like this with my curved ruler in order to have that the shape that we are looking for. So after doing that, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to start placing my measurements. So on my chest line, I'm going to place my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll replace the dart that we already took, and then I'm going to add stitching allowance. On my waistline, I'm going to place my waist circumference divided by 4. I'll replace the dart and I'll add stitching allowance. After doing that, I'm going to connect the dots on the chest line to meet the dots on the waistline. On the armhole area, I'm going to go down by half an inch. I know this top does not have armhole, but I don't want the armhole area of the top to be poking me when I wear it. So I went down by half an inch. I'm going to slant it to meet the other side, and then I'll go ahead and cut. So please pay close attention so you know where to cut. So after cutting, I'm going to place this on my fabric, and then I'm going to cut. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut out on my fabric. For the center front, I went ahead to cut 2 pieces, and the center front is on fold. And for the side front, I went ahead to cut out 4 pieces. I'll be using the fabric for the lining also. So I'm going to open the center front up like this, and I'll place the 2 side fronts on the side like this. So what I'm going to do now is to place the side front on the center front, right sides facing each other, and then I'll go ahead and pin. I repeat the same thing for the other side, and also for the lining piece. Like I said before, I'll be using this fabric as my lining piece, so whatever I do for the main fabric, I'll also do for the lining. After pinning, I'm going to go ahead and follow the shape, and I'm going to sew using my stitching allowance. And for the back, I'm going to pin my center front on my fabric like this, and I'm also going to bring the side front. I'll use it to cover my dart. So just look at what I am doing. I'm going to cover the dart area like this. I'll also pin down, and then I'll go ahead and trace. So don't forget to leave stitching allowance on the base like we did for the front. So after cutting out, I'm going to remove my paper, so you don't have to do much for the back. So if you don't want the back to be straight, you can go ahead and do any shape that you want for the back. After doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and hem the neckline for the back, because I don't have enough fabric to cut lining for the back. So I've gone ahead to sew the front in place. I'll trim out the excess fabric that I have on the upper area of this top. Remember, I said I have a lining piece for this, so after sewing this part, I'll also go ahead and sew the lining. So guys, next thing I'll do is to cut out a strap. So remember, while we were drafting, we removed 6 inches before placing our points. So the length of your strap is going to be 12 inches, 6 inches for the front and 6 inches for the back, and you're going to add stitching allowance to the strap. But mine is 11 inches because my fabric is stretchy, so that is why I reduced it by 1 inch. So if you want to get the accurate measurement for your strap, you have to measure from your chest line to meet your back. But since we removed 6 inches while taking our measurement, 6 inches for the front, 6 inches for the back, and then you add 1 inch for stitching allowance. So if you are cutting and your fabric is not stretchy, you can cut out 13 inches for your strap. So I'm going to place the strap on the joining that I have on the front, just like this. Remember to sew your strap and turn it inside out. Sorry, I forgot to mention, after cutting it, I'll sew it and turn it inside out. So I'm going to pin the strap on the joining area just like this, and then I'll bring in my lining. I'm going to cover it up like this, and then I'm going to pin all the way around. After pinning, I'm going to sew all the way around. So I'll sew the chest line, I'll sew the side, and I'm going to go ahead and notch all the way around. After notching, I'm going to turn everything inside out through the base. So guys, the next thing I'll do is to join the back and the front together. So I've gone ahead to hem my neckline. What I'm going to do is to place the back and the front on each other, right sides facing each other, just like this. And then I'm going to sew using my stitching allowance. After sewing, I'm going to go ahead and turn it inside out. So guys, I've gone ahead to sew and this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to join the strap to the back part of this top. So I'm going to fold my strap just like this, and I'm going to place it like this inside the back neckline like this, and I'm going to pin. I will also pin the other strap in place. After doing that, I'll go ahead and stitch. And the last thing I'll do is to hem the base of this top. So I'm just going to fold just like this, and I'll fold over. I'll go ahead and stitch all the way around, and that brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you are not a subscriber. If you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.